Welcome to Booby Guide to the cleric buffs for a heal spec cleric mostly, but can be used also by the DPS ones. Let's start maybe with the basic ones. We got Blessing of Health that gives you 10% more HP. I will actually remove all my buffs to show you how they work. Okay, so we got our skills removed. I'll just find them on the list because I'm using mostly macros for it. Blessing of Health gives us 10% HP. If you look on the HP, that's 15.5k HP right now. I'm buffing myself. Buff is up. And my HP went from 15.5 to 16.2. Another thing, Blessing of Rock. It grants us physical defense by 10% and magic suppression by 100. So let's try. My magic suppression went already up. I can remove it again. It goes down. Same for physical defense. Again, using Blessing of Rock, my defense goes up. So these are the basic stats you want buffed. The third buff I'm usually using is a DPS buff actually, because it inflicts additional damage, got a 5% chance to it, to the target. But why I use it? It's because if you use these three buffs and then put Rebirth, SM won't be able to remove your Rebirth because he can remove up to 3 skills on the base attack and then he got a wait. So you got still a chance, even if you die in the PvP, you still got your Rebirth up. And let's talk about Rebirth. What's about Rebirth is important, that if you die, you can res up yourself. You don't go to the Kisk or to the Obelisk, no, you can just res up here right now where you are, where you died, where is your body. So Rebirth grants you resing up yourself with 30% HP and MP, and this buff is active for 30 minutes. So if you die within this time, you will just res up yourself with 30% HP. There is second skill that got pretty much the same working time. It's like Hand of Reincarnation, and it's a DPS Stigma build. What can I say about Handy Hand? Because that's how we used to call it. It grants you resurrecting, but with 50% HP and MP. It's more than normal resurrection, but yeah, it's just 5-minute cooldown, and you gotta really keep eye on it. If it go off, you don't have self-res. The Rebirth is better because you got 30 minutes. You don't have to keep looking on it. But when Rebirth is on cooldown, you can just use Hand of Reincarnation on yourself. Actually, you can use both skills in same time, just not on yourself. You use Rebirth on yourself and someone on, or Hand of Reincarnation on someone who is squishy, who often dies, or who might die. So you get to predict who will be the person that might be not able to survive something. So yes, sometimes if you see that someone is going to die, you can just pop the hand on him and he gonna res up himself with 50% HP. It's quite useful. Another buff you might wanna know from the start is Winter Circle and Summer Circle, and here you gotta be really cautious because these two skills are like double-handed sword, because it hits you and hits enemy. Why is that? If you look on the stats, I got right now fire resist on 0. If I pull Summer Circle, I'm getting 90 fire resist and earth resist, but in the same time I'm losing 90 points of water and wind resist. It means that if I face Sorcerer and he hits me with Glacier Shard, which is based on water, well, my resistance to the water is now under 0, so he will hit me way harder than when he would hit me without the buff. So if you go PvP, never use Summer Circle or Winter Circle. The difference between these two is only that Summer Circle protects you from fire and earth, and Winter protects you from wind and water. So you wanna use it only in places where you are pretty sure that there is just damage done by fire and earth or wind and water. If you know that there is also another type of damage, it's better to not use any of it. Another useful stuff you can use. Let's start from the ones we got granted by the game since the start and everyone got it. Prayer Focus. It increase concentration, stumble resist and magic suppression. And why it's so important: if you get low concentration and someone hits you, you won't be able to finish your cast. The more concentration you get, the lower chance is that your enemy gonna disturb your casts. And 1000 of concentration is a lot. I mean really a lot. So if you are faced by a group of Gladies, you wanna spam this skill whenever it's possible to use. It could cool down 1 minute, it's kinda much, but sometimes it's slow, it depends from situation, but it helps you a lot. Another skill you wanna use is Amplification, and this is quite amazing that most of the clerics, especially on our server in 4.8, doesn't really use it as heal spec clerics. Well, some say, but it's magic boost. Yes, it is magic boost buff, but it also gives you half K of healing boost, which means that your skill's gonna be way more effective. You can use one skill to heal the same amount with this amplification, like when you would spam few of them just to heal one person. So if there is like really hard moment, people are dying and you don't have much CDs, you can use amplification and just spam the small spells, the less healing spells, because this healing boost by 500 gives you enough of ballast for the heal, so the small heal might actually feel like you use a big one. And also you gotta use it twice because it's 5-minute cooldown, so it's quite a lot. Next one is Hail Hearts. A lot of people also not using it, but it's really useful. And this is why. If you look on my HP, I got 16.2k heal points. And that moment I put Hail Hearts and I got like 18.3. So yeah, to have 16 or 18k is important. You can use it especially in DR when your group fail killing clones and they drop on you bomb. You can survive with this skill with most of the people that got higher HP. Also, you can use it on last boss in IO. He casts Salvo. Salvo takes around 14k HP from the player, doesn't matter what's his defense, gear, doesn't matter. It's 16k HP and either someone got it or not, so you can just pop Hail Hearts and be hope that the guy will survive, or be just hope that your tank, your Templar in group or SM in group will bodyguard this person, but still their skill got higher cooldown than your Hail Hearts. And Hail Hearts you can use few times in the run. So it's good to remember about it, it's good to use it. Also when you see group going down, people are low on HP, cast Hail Hearts and then heal them. They will survive with higher chance. Another two spells I'm using, although they are not really heal spec stigmas, because these are stigmas for a DPS, as you can see, is Grace of Empyrean Lord in Saga's Wisdom. Grace of Empyrean Lord preserves your mana. It means that when you hit it and start casting spells, it will take pretty much no mana at all, but the heal's gonna go. So if you are low on mana, you hit Grace of Imperial Lord, you can pop your mana and keep healing people, because the mana will keep coming because it's preserved by the skill for 12 seconds. Another what you wanna use, and what I'm usually using together, both of these buffs, Saga's Wisdom, because when you use it, you get in less time for casting, 50% of the cast time from each spell. So it means if Radiant Cure takes 3 seconds to cast, it will take 1.5 to cast. And when you casting with this speed, you're gonna run out of mana really quick. That's why I'm usually using it together with Grace of Empyrean Lord, because it's preserved my mana. Another, maybe not really buff, but I would say it's kind of like a buff, is Penance. It restores your MP for every 3 seconds for 30 seconds, but it also takes away some part of your HP. It's like sacrificing your HP for the MP. It's a good skill. You can actually put Penance and then use Light of Recovery, of Rejuvenation, or just Splendor of Rebirth, because they're gonna give you small heals enough to just compensate the amount of HP you're losing by gaining mana with Penance. Also, I would say that the shield, Life Core 10, is kind of like a buff for you, because although it's a technically shield, the chance to absorb 1.7k damage, it's like a joke, to be honest, because any basic skill can pretty much do that damage to you. But what's important, it gives you a little bit of HP, 1.7k, but it gives you 3k MP. So 3k MP, it's pretty much almost like half your MP. And when you are running out of MP, you just wanna use Life Curtain when anything else is on cooldown. So it's your main source of the MP, kinda like a super duper buff with 2-minute cooldown. And the last stigma I can tell you about for a healer is Noble Grace. Noble Grace is pretty much fun skill because it grants you 50% more healing power for any person that was in your range when you casted it. How it's work? Because the spell, people get in extra buff, and any heal that lands on them grants them more heals by 50%. Even if you die after casting this spell and you get another cleric or channer or some weavering group, and they will heal your group, these people will get half more of the heal that they would usually get. So let's say channer casts one of his spells and gives 3k HP normally. With this buff, he will do 4.5k heals. So it's pretty much overpowered stigma. The downside of it is cooldown, it's 5 minutes. So yeah, you gotta use it wisely. You can remove Hand of Reincarnation and put the Noble Grace, but again the question is if you wanna get one extra self-res or group member res, or just Noble Grace that will just give extra heals for everyone, or you just gotta sacrifice something to get something. I prefer just the Hand of Reincarnation, because with these skills I got here, I should be able to keep them alive. If they die, well, there's nothing you can do, but at least someone can res up quick. that's about the buffs for today. Enjoy playing Cleric.